Okay, guys. So what we have done till now is about working capital management. We were there into the fifth module. We have successfully calculated the operating cycle period. We have come to know about the meaning of it. We know how to interpret. And my voice is still audible, right? My earphones are disconnected. Is it still audible? Confirmation, please.
Yes, sir, audible.
Okay, thank you. Just give me 1 second, please. Okay, thank you so much. So we were there into last lecture, the working capital estimation, and we had started with one question of it. So taking you over there in that question. So this was the question in front of us. Unfortunately, due to internet connectivity and so many other problems, we couldn't solve it last time. Really sorry for the inconvenience caused. Let's start doing that question right from this stretch, because there were a lot of differences. Inconveniences last time around. So give me a 1 minute, please. I'm taking it somewhere. Okay, please start reading the question carefully. We have got the details about one company whose cost structure is given to us. When I say working capital estimation, that stands for estimating the current assets and current liabilities. So how much of our money will be blocked in the current assets and current liabilities will be known to us. If more and more money will be blocked, then there may be some problems because we are not utilizing that money for some productive purposes. It could have been invested somewhere into some investments. It could have fetched some really good returns out of it. We are missing that opportunity. So that's the carrying cost of working capital. We should try to minimize it as much as possible. But it shouldn't be minimized so much that there will be some inadequacy issues, liquidity issues to run the business. So at least some bare minimum levels must be satisfied in order to run the business effectively and efficiently. So this is why we calculate our working capital requirements. So we have got the cost sheet structure. Until and unless you don't have that, it will be difficult for you to know your exact working capital requirement. So we have got the per unit details of raw material cost, direct labor cost, overhead cost, 80 rupees, 30 rupees, 60 rupees. And the total cost is 170. No other costs are incurred. Just 30 rupees of profit we are charging, and the selling price is decided to be 200 rupees. We have got the further information available. Raw material in stock on average we keep on a monthly basis. मतलब कि हम जितना भी रॉ मटेरियल कंज्यूम करते हैं तो एक महीने का रॉ मटेरियल का स्टॉक अपन as a stock रखते हैं. So we have got a 1 month's stock of raw materials. Then the materials in progress or in process, which is basically the WIP material, which is completed 50%, that we keep on an average basis on a stock for half a month requirement. So जितना भी WIP का हमारे पास प्रोसेसिंग होता है पूरे साल का, उसमें से हाफ अ मंथ का हम स्टॉक मेंटेन करते हैं, which is basically the WIP holding period. So WIP holding period is given to you, so you can find the operating cycle period as well from this. Then finished goods we keep on an average for 1 month. Credit period allowed by suppliers is 1 month. Credit allowed to debtors by us is 2 months. Average time lag in payment of wages is 1.5 weeks. 1 month in overhead expense. 1/4 of output is sold against cash, and cash in hand at bank is desired to be maintained at 3,65,000 rupees. You are required to prepare a statement showing working capital needed to finance a level of activity of 1,04,000 units of production. You may assume that production is carried on evenly basis throughout a year and wages and overheads accrue similarly. For calculation purposes, 4 weeks may be taken as equivalent to a month. Well, let's start with the very basics of it. We are supposed to calculate the working capital. Working capital in a gross stands for the total of current assets. When I use net working capital, that means current assets minus current liabilities. So I'm writing working capital statement. So friends, it starts with the current assets. Then we have got 2 more columns where some calculations will take place. So you may have 3 columns in total. Please do it. Just a second. Again, the Excel file is hanged. Just give me 30 seconds, please. Oh, started working. Thank you so much. So we have got third column, which is of amount again. So the first current asset we have got in this case is our stock. I may call it inventory. In that, the first one will be the inventory of raw material. So how do we calculate the raw material amount needed? See, we have got the per unit detail. So there will be 1,04,000 units produced. So if I take that 1,04,000 units and the per unit raw material cost will be 80 rupees, then that will be the total cost of raw material during the entire year. But I am maintaining the raw material for how many number of months? Let's check it out. We maintain the raw material on an average for 1 month. So we maintain the raw material for only 1 month's requirement. So that may be multiplied by 1 divided by 12. And if we want to do the weekly calculations, then per month we may take 4 weeks for the better calculation purpose. Then 4 divided by 52 may be taken. So 1 divided by 12 and 4 divided by 52 will change your answer a bit because that's not the same ratio. But here in this case, weekly calculation has been specifically given to us. So we may use 4 divided by 52 too. So 4 divided by 52 will be looking better. Can someone calculate the raw material stock we have got, please? Let me do it over here. 1,04,000 multiplied by 80.
6,40,000.
Okay, thank you so much. 6,40,000 rupees. Then we have got the stock of WIP. Now, when I say WIP, that means it's already there into a production, right? So if it is there in production, that means WIP involves some portion of raw material. It involves some portion of direct labor, and it also involves some portion of the production overheads too. So every such expenses are little bit contributing in the WIP, and then we have reached to work in progress. So how much of portion is completed? Only 50% is completed. So how will be calculating this? So WIP will involve some portion of raw material, some portion of labor, and some portion of overheads. So the raw material will be how much? 1,04,000 multiplied by 80. And how much is already completed? 50%. So that can be written like 0.5. Similarly, the goods are completed 50%. So 50% of labor cost should also be taken in calculation. So 1,4 multiplied by per unit labor cost is how much? 30 rupees. So multiplied by 30. So you get the labor cost for the entire year. Now you have completed goods only by 50%. One more calculation will take place. Let me do the same for overheads too. 1,04,000 multiplied by per unit overhead cost is 60 multiplied by percentage stage of completion is 50%. Now we are maintaining this WIP stock for how many number of months? We maintain it for, I guess, half a month, given to you in the second statement. In fact, the third after the table. So half a month's stock we are maintaining. If I will calculate this, no, it will give me the idea about entire year. But we are not maintaining the WIP stock for entire year, you know. We maintain it for half a month. And half a month will be taken as 2 weeks. And in year we have got 52 weeks. So multiplied by 2 divided by 52. Multiplied by 2 divided by 52. And if you add up all of this, then you will come to know your WIP stock. So what is the first amount we are getting? Can someone tell me, please? One lakh 4 multiplied by 80, 0.5 multiplied by 2 divided by 52.
1,60,000.
1,60,000. Very good. Next one. 1,04,000 multiplied by 60,000. And the last one.
1,20,000.
1,20,000. Try to understand it very simply. So in my WIP stock, how much portion is included from raw material part? How much cost of and its portion should be included from labor? And how much should be overhead? That's what we have got. So if we total it out, we get the total value of our WIP stock. So 160 in 6. Okay. So 22 and 340. So 340 we get. I'm just putting that in a square so you will come to know that what to add, what not to add. Then we have got another stock as well, which is of finished goods. Now finished goods are valued at the COGS. Now in this case, the COGS will be basically the total amount of cost because no other costs are given to you. After COGS, some selling and distribution cost will be added, so you reach to cost of sales. But no such selling and distribution cost is given to you. That means there is no such advertisement, selling and distribution cost. I like that company. बिना advertisement अगर तुम कमाते हो तो तुम भगवान हो गए भैया. The finished good stock, how do we value that? So we will be producing total number of units of 1,04,000 of finished goods, and each unit will have the total cost of 170. 80 rupees of material, 30 rupees of direct labor, and 60 rupees of overhead. So in total it will have 170 rupees. But we will not be maintaining the stock for entire year, right? We maintain it only for how many number of months? Finished goods in stock on an average 1 month. In the third line of your para. So sir, पूरे साल का अगर फिनिश गुड्स का इतना खर्चा होता है 1,04,000 मल्टीप्लाइड बाई 170, तो फिर एक महीने का कितना? So 1 divided by 12. And sir, do not forget that we are there into weekly calculations, because sum is explicitly telling this to you do. So we will be doing 4 divided by 52. So how much we get as a finished stock? Can someone tell me please? Here in this case too, WIP, we could have directly taken 170 rupees. Instead of 80, 30, 60, we could have taken 170 multiplied by 0.5 multiplied by 2 divided by 52. Then also the answer would have been same. Lekin we have taken the individual portion just to explain you that how much portion of each thing is there. Now sometime what happens that they may give you a different proportion of completion. That raw material completion in the WIP will be 50%. Labor completion in the WIP may be say 30%. And overhead completion in the WIP may be say 70%. Then you cannot directly take the total cost of 170, no? Then the individual element cost will have to take place. Here in this case, 0.50% completion is given to you for every costs included. But it may be different for individual cost, right? So that's why we may follow this format file, finding the WIP. So what do we get as an answer over here? We get, मेरे को एक्सेल में एक ही सेकंड का काम होता है लेकिन फिर भी मैं करवाता हूँ. 13,60,000 क्या आता है? अच्छा, 13,60,000 is the total stock of finished goods. Others may cross verify this please.
Yes sir, same answer.
Okay, thank you. Then the list doesn't stop over here for current assets. After current asset, after inventory, we may have the receivables. So I'm finding the receivables here. Now, while recording the receivables, there may be two approaches. Generally, as per the financial statements, we record the receivables at the sale value, right? But if we are talking from the management perspective, then we want to know that how much money of us is stuck in that. So it should not include the profit element. So there are two bases. One is you record either the receivables at sale value, or you may record it at cost value. But try to understand it conceptually. अगर तुम सेल वैल्यू से रिकॉर्ड करोगे तो दैट मीन्स इट इंक्लूड्स द प्रॉफिट एलिमेंट. बट एज अ फाइनेंस मैनेजर right now your need is to know that how much of your money will be blocked in the receivable. So profit is not blocked in the receivable. Profit is something which you are charging over and above your cost. So if nothing is given to you, you will generally record it as the cost. Now it should be recorded at the cost of sales, and there is a difference between cost of goods sold and cost of sales. In COGS, if you add the selling and distribution expense, then it becomes the cost of sales. That's all about the cost sheet structure and format. Let's not go into that. So what you will do, 1,04,000 unit, but not entire unit will be sold on credit basis, because you are making some cash shells too, no? So how much there is a cash shell portion? Let's go over there and check it out. See here, 1/4 of output is sold against cash. So only 3/4 of output will be sold on credit basis. So I am multiplying this 1,04,000 with 3 divided by 4, because 1/4 is anyway on the cash. So there will be no credit on that. Now, whatever the amount you get, you will multiply that with the total cost of sales per unit, which is 170. There is no selling and distribution, so that means COGS becomes your cost of sales too. Now, my friends, you are maintaining this receivables for how many number of periods? Now see, this much of money is for the entire year. हमें पूरा एंटायर ईयर का नहीं चाहिए. हम रिसीवेबल्स में कितने महीने के लिए पैसे ब्लॉक रखते हैं? वी आर मेंटेनिंग द रिसीवेबल्स ऑफ credit allowed to debtors is 2 months. Check it out, 2 months over here. So that will be multiplied by 2, or we may say 8 if we are doing the weekly calculations, divided by 52, because 1 month is taken as 4 weeks as per our question. So this will be the total value of your receivables blocked. This much of money you will have to keep aside just for your receivables purposes. Can someone tell me what do we get here? Please do it.
12,000.
12,000? नहीं आएगा. देखो, 1,04,000 multiplied by 170 multiplied by 3 divided by 4 and multiplied by 8 divided by 52. 3 divided by 4 can also be written like 0.75.
Yes, sir. I forgot to multiply 170. It's 20,40,000.
20,40,000. Good. So I'm again circling this. So we'll come to know what to add and what not to. Do we have any other current asset? Yes. Cash balance. So how much cash balance they are willing to maintain? That's given to us. Desired to be maintained at 3,65,000. So let's just take the cash balance over there in the current assets. 3,65,000. So that will be your total of current assets. So whatever the figures I have put there in the circle, you will be doing the total of this. First 640, then 340, then 1360, then 2040, then 365. So what is the current asset total we get? Can someone tell me please? $365 plus 2040 plus 1360 plus 340 plus 640. Yes, please. What do we get? Can someone tell me? 4745. Very nice. Thank you so much. 4745. But sir, that's all about the gross working capital we will be requiring. But we have to find the current liabilities too to find net working capital. So in current liabilities, the first will be the trade payables, or in other words, I can say creditors. Now trade payables, what you have purchased? You have purchased the raw material, right? So raw material cost will be incurred 80 rupees per unit. How many number of units you are going to produce? 1,04,000. So let me just multiplying the total purchase cost. The trade payable will be 1,04,000 multiplied by 80, which is your raw material per unit. Now on that, how much of credit you have taken? The credit which you have taken from your creditors, credit allowed by suppliers is 1 month, given to you in the 4th line of the para. Credit allowed by suppliers is 1 month. Check it out, everyone. So it would be 4 divided by 52. So you will get the total trade payable. What do we get? Can someone tell me, please?
6,40,000.
6,40,000 of trade payables. Okay. Now, what other outstanding expenses may be there in the current liabilities? Just check out what information is given to you. So in the second para, credit allowed by suppliers is 1 month considered. Credit allowed to debtors is 2 months. So debtors also considered. Average time lag in payment of wages is 1.5 weeks. So at the end of the year 2, you will always have 1.5 weeks of wages pending to be given to your laborers. So at any point of time during the year, you will always have 1.5 weeks of wages to be given to the laborers. So first we'll have to find the total labor cost in a year, right? So how can we find the total labor cost? Sir, that will be 1,04,000 unit we are producing. Then the per unit labor cost is, I guess, 30 rupees. Let me just cross verify. Yes, 30 rupees. So 30 rupees, that will be total labor cost. And we will be keeping it pending for 1.5 weeks, right? So 1.5 divided by 52. So we'll get it the equivalent amount of 1.5 weeks. That will be my outstanding wages. What do we get? Can someone tell me, please? Equals to
90,000.
90,000. Okay. Then the last current liability is pending, which is outstanding expenses. How did we come to know? We came to know from the question itself. Read over there. After wages is 1.5 weeks, what is given? 1 month in overhead expense. That means हमारा जो overhead expense है ना, उसमें भी 1 month का leg रहेगा. What do we mean by the leg of 1 month? That means it will always be outstanding for 1 month on any given day in the entire year. Even if you are at the end of the year, it will be pending to be given for 1 month. That means 1 month leg. So for that, we'll have to first identify what will be the total cost of overheads. So sir, outstanding expenses will be 1,04,000 multiplied by 60 rupees is the per unit cost. So you get the total of outstanding expense, total of overhead expense. And from that, it will be outstanding only for 1 month. 1 month, here it is given. So 4 divided by 52. What do we get?
4,80,000.
4,80,000. Okay. So friends, I don't think any other liabilities and current assets are given to you. So you may just find the total of current liability, and then we will be deducting it from current assets. So what is the total of current liabilities we have got? Can someone tell me, please?
12,10,000.
12,10,000. Very nice. So your net working capital requirement will be and why we are reducing this from the current assets? Because friends, आपको पैसा देना है किसी को, वो भी तो आपने एक एडवांटेज लिया. आपका पैसा आपके कस्टमर से कब छूटता है वो आपने देखा. कि आपका कितना पैसा आपके कस्टमर्स वगैरह में, आपके स्टॉक्स में, आपके इन्वेंटरीज में ब्लॉक रहता है। लेकिन आपने कि किसी लोगों के पैसे ब्लॉक करके रखे हैं, तो वो भी रिड्यूस करने चाहिए। तो दैट इज द नेट वर्किंग कैपिटल दैट विल बी always required in your business. How much? What do we get? Total of current assets minus total of current liabilities. 4745 minus
35 lakh 35,000.
35 lakh 35,000. Good. So that will be the total requirement of net working capital. I hope everyone would have got the same answer. Just check it out. And we could see in the last question that trade payables of Reliance was much more than the trade receivables. And last question, I could identify that while calculating this operating cycle period, by mistake I had taken here in this case credit period availed. In this calculation, by mistake I had taken the credit sales. It should be credit purchases. क्या होता है कि 4-5 लेक्चर होते हैं ना, तो फिर सर भी थोड़े से ऐसे कंटाल गए होते हैं, तो कई बार वो एब्सेंट माइंडेड में क्रेडिट सेल्स को डाल दिया था। इट विल बी क्रेडिट परचेजेस बिकॉज क्रेडिट पीरियड अवेल्ड is basically you take from your suppliers. So in denominator, credit purchases will be there. So just have a slight modification in your answer if you have done the last question. Well, now how this will help you in the business? मुझे मालूम पड़ेगा कि मेरा इतना पैसा बिजनेस में वर्किंग कैपिटल में स्टॉक होने वाला है, और ये पैसा मुझे कहीं ना कहीं से कैसे भी अरेंज करके रखना ही है। अगर मेरे पास 35,35,000 नहीं रहेंगे तो मैं ये बिजनेस नहीं कर पाऊंगा ऑन एंड हैंड, क्योंकि बहुत सारे पैसे पहले तो डेटर्स में ब्लॉक होने वाले हैं, बहुत सारे पैसे कैश में रहने वाले हैं 3,65,000, और बहुत सारे पैसे मेरे इन्वेंटरीज में ब्लॉक रहने वाले हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ फिक्स्ड असेट्स, फिक्स्ड गुड्स, फिनिश्ड गुड्स, WIP goods and the raw material goods, against which I'll also take the benefits of liabilities. But still 35,35,000 rupees will anyway be required at any point of given time during the entire year. If this much of money I can't arrange from any other sources, then there will be some serious consequences on my liquidity. So how can you plan accordingly? Say you know that, sir, we have already got some liquid funds of 10 lakhs rupees, then at least 25 lakhs rupees of arrangement you must have been doing by using say the cash credits, by taking some short-term sources of finance, or by any sort of means, but at least this much of money will be required to run your business at any given day. Now here the safety margin may also be taken. So say, sir, there may be some here and there in the calculations, say there will be more requirement of the stocks in some given point of time. There may be some cyclical patterns in my stock consumption, in some number of months I may have the greater requirement of inventories because there will be greater amount of sales. So if I keep 10% of safety margin on it, then my total of working capital needs should be 35,000 plus 10% of it. So I hope the estimation of working capital is pretty clear to you. May I have confirmation from students, please? More number of questions will be given to you for the practice. But as far as this questions and everything is concerned, I do not like to give just the theoretical and conceptual understanding. We must have at least a bit of a practical exposure of everything. So that's effectively the end of the 5th module. So estimation of working capital is clear. Operating cycle period is clear. We know working capital management. We know factors affecting the working capital. That's effectively the end of 5th module. The only concept pending to be done is in the 2nd module, I had told you that there are some capital structure theories which are supposed to be completed. For that, I will take one session more Either on Monday or on Tuesday, I will inform the timings to you. So I hope the maximum attendance in the last session of financial management. This kind of sum come in exam. Obviously, Mr. Neve, how can this question come in exam? Do you have that much of a time? So what can I ask you? I can ask you that from a very small detail, if I tell you that calculate the amount of credit period allowed to debtors. Or I may ask, say if I give you total units of produce 1,04,000 and raw material per unit cost will be 80 rupees, and say 1 month of time you will be taking from your supplier. So find the total amount of payable from that. That can be done. That is possible in 1 minute, yes. So very short answers of 1 minute may contain some very small formulas which may be there in the exam. But as far as the practical portion is concerned, no, it should be not more than 30% of your total marks. So rest 70% of the focus will be purely on the conceptual part. The meaning of current assets, meaning of okay, guys, sorry for the disconnection. You may just put your enrollment number as a mark of your attendance. Thank you so much. Yes, Neil, could you understand what I was telling?
So can you repeat it once? Because nothing was audible properly.
Okay, fine, no worries. So what I was telling is that, see, you won't have to focus much on the practical aspects. The maximum portion from the practical aspects of the exam may reach to 30%. Definitions, meanings, conceptual understanding, the differentiation between two terms, such sort of questions you may be expecting in the exams, because यहाँ पे हाथ बंधे हुए हैं ना, हाथ बंधे हुए ना, ठाकुर के हाथ ही नहीं है। तो ठाकुर क्या कर लेगा हाथ के बिना? एक मार्क के में तो क्या पूछ लेगा रौनक सर? तो कुछ पॉसिबल ही नहीं है। तो आपको ज्यादा फोकस नहीं करना चाहिए, लेकिन छोटे छोटे क्वेश्चंस है वो आ सकते हैं। कैसे कि चलो ट्रेड रिसीवेबल है उसको फाइंड कर दो, मैं तुम्हें 3 इंफॉर्मेशन दूं, जैसे मैंने अभी बोला था कि तुम्हारे पास ट्रेड रिसीवेबल का पीरियड है कि वो कितने महीने के लिए रहता है, you know, you have got the cost of sales for the entire product, you have got the number of products, then you may just multiply that and trade receivables may be found कि मेरा टोटल कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन है वो 170 रुपीज है, then number of units are this much and I keep 1 month of data, so you multiply these 3 just like we have done in the big question, so you get the trade receivables. So such small questions may be there. Okay,
Okay, sir.
can I put or provide the question bank? Question bank will be there considering the 8 marks and 4 marks of questions. Otherwise, I'm anyway going to put the material, but for 1 mark question and MCQs, I don't have the question bank. You will have to just read the theory properly well. From there, anything can be asked.
So can you provide the link or anything for MCQs or something we can practice online?
But in the link, I'll be unable to tell you, that how much of portion may be relevant in the examination. So your reading strategy should be very clear. See, just understand every concept thoroughly, understand their meaning, understand their implications. Any models are discussed, then try to recall the formulas of it, try to see what are the assumptions taken in that model, how do you interpret the answer from that model as far as the dividend models were concerned. Then second module, maybe you have already got some exposure of first and second examination, no? तो आपको मालूम ही है कि कैसे MCQ आ सकते हैं. Why I don't want to give you the MCQs is because over there so many other irrelevant information may be there. फिर आप ही पूछोगे कि सर ये तो हमारे सिलेबस में था ही नहीं, ये तो नहीं है, ये तो वो था, ऐसा वाला क्वेश्चन कैसे? तो फिर वो उसमें एक्सप्लेनेशन में बहुत टाइम जाएगा. उससे अच्छा है कॉन्सेप्चुअली मस्त पढ़ के बैठो, आपको कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी एग्जाम में. ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर द एग्जाम. 1 more lecture will be taken over there. In detail discussion may be done on examination part. Please put your enrollment number.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, okay.